You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to round 21, the Panic Room. I am your host for tonight, Deadly. The horse has given me free rein to go ham. So thanks for doing that, mate. And how are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic, mate. It's quite nice to see the big man step into to my shoes and have a bit of a crack behind the mic leading the show. And if you see what Deadly's got going on in EPL, I think it's what a nice time to just let him, what could you say? Just let him ramble on a little bit and get used to being the man because EPL is heating up. But before we talk EPL, SuperCoach Finals is here.
That's it. It definitely is. And we're here to bring you all of your round one team news, which there's a fair bit going on. But before we do that, we've got a couple things to address here, Horse. And first of all,
Right.
I'm giving out a specialty cone today.
Oh, fuck. Right.
But it's to myself. So
What?
Anyone who watched the pod on Sunday had a bit of a stinker myself personally. I copped a bit of flack. Fair enough. I'm here to apologise. It's not my best performance. I'm here to rectify that. And we'll look. As long as we do good the rest of the year, I suppose. What's one bad podcast, Horse?
No, 100%, mate. As I'm digging into my Zigger burger.
Yeah, that's it. And also, before we get into the games tonight, they are brought to you by our day one sponsors, the Standard Squeeze. Use the promo code IFS 2025 for 15% off your order on all good products that they have on the website. How good's the 4-in-1, mate? Look it up.
So good. Sutto, Ash, one of my good mates who owns the company, absolute ripper bloke, and has supported us since day one before we even became a podcast here on Insight. He was the one that jumped on board and said, yep, I'm going to back you guys in. And here we are 2.5 years later. He's gone global. His product is now in America and Japan and still backing us to this day. So, yeah, a great, great man Sutto is.
Lovely to hear. Good people supporting good people. So, as we jump into the games tonight, mate, bit of a cracker to start the weekend with Western Bulldogs versus GWS, and we can see that no changes as of yet for the Western Bulldogs. They shouldn't have any changes unless someone gets injured really, really late. But for GWS, 3 pretty expected outs with Jack Buckley and Josh Kelly both done for at least a home and away season, and Toby Green out for the week with a suspension. Your boy Lee Collier comes in for Buckley. Harry Rouston and Harvey Thomas, the other two to come in. The subs have just been named. I'm trying to refresh and find them out. I know Latham Vandermeer was the...
he was a sub last week.
He was the Dogs sub, and Harry Rouston is the GWS sub.
Okay.
Couple big talking points in this one. So Kingsley's come out just before we jumped on tonight.
Yeah.
They are not tagging Marcus Bontempelli. Now, if you have him, I think the VC probably has to go straight on him, personally.
Yeah, I think he's one of 3 this week, mate, that you're definitely looking at. We'll get into the other 2 later, but tonight, Thursday night, we know our man Hurls hates a Thursday night VC, but I mean, Bontempelli's got an average of 139.8 at Marvel Stadium this year. He's hard to look past, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. And unless you go in a certain lumberjack-looking, big-bearded bastard, which we'll talk about very soon, I think that your VC is definitely going to lie in this Thursday night fixture. There's a lot of guys I like. Bont would by far and away be my number one, but I'm not going to talk you out of going a possible Finn Callaghan VC who has gone huge against the Dogs in the past. Earlier in the year, he went well just before his injury, and he's been going crack-hot the past couple of weeks, and there's a few other guys. I reckon Ed Richards is probably one to cop the tag tonight.
Yep.
And there's a couple halfbacks. Both the Lockies match up well. Bailey Dale as well. So there's plenty of options in this one. But yeah, I think if you're looking VC, Bont's the guy tonight. Just his run against GWS is pretty good. And he's on for a big score tonight, I reckon. Look, we've had a bit of a discussion throughout the week. This has probably been our most talked about game. Who's going to win wise? I know me and Hurls have been. Hurls reckons GWS win this. I reckon Dogs win pretty comfortably. I've been pretty all over the Dogs this week. I think with the 3 outs for GWS, they're pretty big ones for their just core spinal structure. as well as the Dogs have won their past 4 against GWS. So where do you sit on it?
GWS. Sorry, boys. I actually quite like the Orange team. GWS aren't that good at Marvel. So we saw, even though Essendon got beaten by 10 goals in the end against them, like if Essendon had a kick straight, they were in that game until 3/4 time. So Western Bulldogs love Marvel. GWS don't. Doggies for me, 20 points.
Yep, like it a lot. Big disposal game, you'd reckon. These are 2 of the big Supercoach heavyweight point scorers. They both both land in the top 3 of team Supercoach points for a couple seasons in a row. So yeah, I think the VC lies somewhere in this game, unless you want to go a Gorn into a Grundy, which we'll speak about later. Sam Darcy does after a huge 150 last week against Essendon, which I suppose doesn't really shock anyone. Does the matchup with Sam Taylor scare you a little bit for a bit of a drop down game?
Does Sam Taylor normally play up the ground a little bit, or is he normally the last line of defence? Because
it's usually Jack Buckley, but since he's out, I think he probably has to be the last line of defence now. I don't think they're prepared to have Lee Kalia do it.
Okay, well then, if that's the case, he'll definitely have Sam Darcy. Aaron Norton's over the last 4 weeks, he's been really good, not just from a Supercoach point of view. I think he's turned up 3 times in his last 4 games, but he's just getting his hands on the ball. And with an opponent like Lee Kalia, I really rate Lee Kalia. I think he's going to be a really good footballer in the AFL system. But I think Norton might have his number tonight, and you might see some chopping and changing between Lee Kalia and Sam Taylor as to who they're playing on. And Strommy, zinger box, mate. Got to love it.
Munching on his chicken burger. He loves it. That's about it for this game. Should be a bloody cracker, I still reckon. I'm backing the doggies in, but it will be good to watch this one as we move into the sole Friday game, thankfully, after last week's dual Friday game, which I don't know why it happened, but it did. Adelaide versus Hawthorn shapes up to be another pretty decent game, but VCC options are very limited in this one, and we'll discuss that a little bit. So for Adelaide, Hugh Bond comes in for, I believe, his first game of the season. Isaac Cumming and Brodie Smith also back in. For Luke Pedler, Max Michelini, who's out for a while, and Rory Laird, who's managed. And for the Hawthorn side of things, Mabior Chol comes back in for Bailey McDonald. So, yeah, the big players in this game, I suppose, Supercoach-wise, we'll jump straight to the top. Jordan Dawson. We probably expect that there's a good chance he cops a bit of attention around the stoppage and stuff like that. But also, mate, his record against Hawthorn, it sucks. He's not good against Hawthorn. Only averaging 71 against Hawthorn in his whole career.
Wow.
In the past 3, it's about 80 something as well. It's not good. So, I reckon you can probably expect a Jordan Dawson down game. And I know you suggested last night on the preview show that Adelaide have probably their best run for the last 4 games.
Yep.
Going Hawthorn, West Coast, Collingwood, and then North in the last round of the season. I think if you have a trade, you're looking for a guy. I do like Dawson, but don't expect him to go huge tonight. He hasn't scored over 104 against Hawthorn ever.
Okay.
That's sort of where I sit on that.
How's Ben Keys going to play against Hawthorn? Your man.
Oh, well, for your sake, I hope he goes all right. For my sake, I hope he goes all right. So let's just say he goes all right. But
Did you just hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Deadly wants me to do well. This could be a first. Are you sick? Or are you just in a really good mood?
I'm having a shocking season. I'm happy to admit that I've had an absolutely horrible season. You've gone better than me in both draft and classic. And I know Ben Keys has sort of transitioned from my boy to your boy, so he's our boy now.
He's not my boy. You can have him. Where's that jumper? It's not hanging up on the wall yet.
Yeah, it's still getting framed.
Oh, no.
Mate.
Treat with care.
Yeah, well, spending $700 on the frame, so.
Mate, I do want to ask you before we move up Adelaide, Isaac Rankin, he's been really, really hot and cold.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Look, it's a hard scenario, especially at this point in the season. I think just purely with Adelaide's run, if you still have a trade, you're looking at a guy to trade out. He probably lands once again in this Dawson tier of he hasn't got a great matchup with Hawthorn. They like to restrict him as well. He hasn't scored over 102 against Hawthorn. But still, you can't look past that West Coast and even North in the next 2 out of 3. That he's bound. Surely he does all right in the next 2 to the point where you just have to hold him now at this point in the season.
For sure.
On the Hawthorn side of things, now Will Day came back into the team last week. Sort of played around the place. He didn't do too much. He only scored a 80 odd, I think 70 odd, 77 against Carlton. Can we expect much the same against Adelaide? Him to play a bit of around the place, because averaging 121 against Adelaide in his career. So,
is he really?
Nah. Well, I mean, it's only 2 games, but
yeah, okay.
Still, it's good. Don't let the truth ignore a good story.
In the way of a good story. Yeah,
that's it. No, but we probably expect him to maybe see a bit of an uptick in midfield time. You reckon?
I think so. Yep.
And Jai Newcomb. Hugh Bond has tagged in the past. He did a good job on Zach Merritt last year. He's one to come in. I reckon he probably is the sub though. We know Sam Berry's a bit of a defender. James Peatling. Do we see even Jake Saligo? Do we see any of these guys sort of spending a bit of time on Newcomb either around the ground or at stoppages?
Yeah, I think Peatling goes to him.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair. And look, that's really about it. Besides one, James Sicily, who seemed to have the roll back a little bit of what we're used to. Our man in the dock, who's firmly placed inside the top 1K now. Hawthorn boy himself loves the idea of assist pod this week.
I don't. And I want to tell you why. Adelaide's forward line is like no other. So you've got 3 bigs in Thilthorpe, Thriller, Darcy Fogarty, and Taylor Walker. So you look at those 3, and then you look at the defenders. Scrimshaw, he's not going with anyone there. Tom Barras, Josh Battle, and I feel like Sicily has to be more of a man on here. I don't think he can afford to float in between because they're just going to get picked off. So for this round especially, I'm on the fade Sicily bandwagon.
Joined by our boy, Darcy Flinders. He's on the fade Sicily train too. And I think it's fair, but there is definitely merit to the pod. I just don't, like we've said it most of the second half of this year, I don't like Hawthorn as Supercoach options. They're too up and down.
That's right.
Yeah. I like pod options. He's probably not my guy this week. But yeah, predictions in this one. I'm tipping Adelaide, and I think pretty comfortably again. Even though Hawthorn do put up a good fight, Adelaide is just a different beast this season. Moving on to the Saturday games with probably the most boring game in human history. Melbourne versus West Coast. We've got some huge inclusions in this one, and I'm very excited. I'm very
come on. Go Melbourne's ones first before we just explode all over the screen at West Coast ones.
All right. For the Melbourne side of things, the train, runaway trains boy, Jai Cully, makes his Melbourne debut. Look, that's a good story from the preseason. If you remember our draft videos from the preseason, you know all about the Jai Cully story. Mm-hmm. And Harry Sharp also comes in for Charlie Spargo and Xavier Lindsay.
How's Jai Cully's first game back against West Coast as well?
Yeah. I rate Jai Cully. I always thought he was good, but this is probably be his first game back in the AFL since that ACL injury.
How's he been going in the twos?
All right. Look, it's tough to judge Melbourne in the twos. They rotate their team so much, and it's basically just Connor Brown's show to run most of the time. He's like the Braden Fiorini of that team. But for West Coast, quite simply, he's back.
Number 18 for the West Coast Eagles. I introduce to you the GOAT, Campbell Chester.
I need someone to make that into a soundbite. Broads, get onto that. Make that a soundbite for me. That would be lovely. Yes, but Campbell Chester, the out of contract boy, who's probably got some writing on the wall that he's probably going to leave West Coast this season. But there's another couple big inclusions for West Coast. One being Tom Gaross, who a couple of people would still probably have kicking about on the bench as a bit of cover this week. Harry Edwards and Hamish Davis also come back in. Some pretty big omissions and injuries as well. Sandy Brock Jack Hutchinson and Matt Flynn all omitted, with Harley Reid being out for the season. But
So
I think
would you just-
the big question is,
Yeah, do you VC or do you see Gawn?
yeah, with Matt Flynn being omitted, Bailey J. Williams in the ruck. I think if you have Bont, my advice to you is Bont VC, Gawn C would probably be the safest thing you could ever do. And yeah, I think if I had Bont, I'd be going there. But I've seen a lot of people say VC Gawn, C Harry Boyd.
There you go.
So I think I'm on that train at this rate. But yes, as Flinda says here, Gawn over under 180. We remember that massive 198 game from earlier in the season. Could it be bigger?
Could be.
It could be, but I don't think it will. I don't hold expectations that it will be. I reckon 140 plus, but a 198 plus would be nice. And he goes, right, I've gone full Randy Marsh from South Park on announcing Chester's inclusion. It's everywhere, mate. It's all over the shop.
Yeah. What is it called? The exoplasm.
Yeah, that's it. Couple other things in this game. Obviously, not too many relevant players, but do we expect a bit of a bounce back from one Christian Petrarca in this one? His probably biggest game of the season went against West Coast this earlier in the year with a 129. He was good in that one. Mm-hmm. Can we expect him to finally crack over the 100? I think he cracked over the 100 last week, but do it back-to-back weeks for the first time in about a century.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that's good for Petrarca owners. On the West Coast side of things, it's really only Tom McCarthy, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I had this question last night, and so Connor Rozee is in for Port. I somehow have a sit-start decision of all things. I don't know how, but Tom McCarthy or Rozee, where would you land on that? I'm on McCarthy at the minute just because Rosee's hand worries me. But where do you sit?
Rozee doesn't fill me full of confidence. So when you're talking about a broken hand and the fact that he's coming out saying, I'm just going to play until I can't feel it anymore sort of thing, that's I don't want to sound like I'm bagging out the bloke, but that's a very typical captaincy thing to say. When you're leading the footy club, you are just going to do what you can and keep playing until you can't no more. The medical staff might just step in and go, your hand's fucked, mate. All right, we've got nothing to play for here. Just get yourself right, just in case you do further damage and potentially longer-term injury or a longer-term injury to your hand. So, yeah, I think it's a dumb thing, as Ahmed Frog's got in the chat. If he's got a broken hand and they're not playing for finals, SuperCoach aside, you should just rest it and get back to a full fitness, have a full preseason, and then attack a new season in 2026.
Yeah, that's it. I think you're 100% right. We will talk about Port Adelaide a little bit more when we get to him. But yes, as our man, the Port boy Froggy joins, and I think he'll agree with you that it's a pretty stupid idea. And look, commiserations to Connor Rozee for wanting to play through it, but at the same time, mate, let's say they do the miracle and make finals or go close, and then come finals time his hand's fucked and he can't play. What was the point?
Yeah.
Anyway, sort of the only other real relevant one for West Coast now, and especially now that Harley Reid's out, I reckon Liam Baker. He's been sneaky good the past few weeks, and look, he hasn't played midfield basically since about the start of the season, but now I think with Harley out, he probably has to, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 137 against Freo last week. A decent matchup against Melbourne, who we know can concede points very quickly. I get it's a pretty shitty West Coast team, but someone has to get some points for him. And I think Baker's probably one to do it this week.
Yep. West Coast aren't that bad at Marvel Stadium either.
Yep. And last one for the Melbourne side of things, can we expect a pretty big game for Cozzy Pickett? He actually was really quiet against West Coast earlier in the year, but this is the sort of game he'd get up for, right? Bit of a dead rubber game. Let's have some fun.
These are the sorts of games that Cozzy Pickett and Bailey Fritsch and the likes do well in.
Yeah, I think you're right. And as we move off that game and move on to another bit of a dead rubber game, which should see Suns win this one. Actually, just quickly, we're both on Melbourne, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Suns versus Richmond, with one pretty big inclusion for the Suns. Took Miller comes back quite early, to be honest, from his hamstring injury in for Leo Lombard. Only 3 weeks out for Took, which quite good. Yeah, a bit surprising. I thought he'd be out at least another couple weeks, but yeah, good for Gold Coast, which we'll talk about who that might impact very soon. And for Richmond, Harry Armstrong, after spending a lot of weeks out with a hamstring injury, is back in, as well as Seth Campbell, Jasper Auger, and Nathan Broad. The people.
What do you know about Harry Armstrong?
Well, from what we saw at the start of the season, big, tall, key forward. He's going to be good. He's really good. Him and Jonty Fall are the future of Richmond's forward line. Yeah, it'll be good to see how he goes first week back from that hamstring injury that kept him out for 10 plus weeks. But for the Gold Coast side of things, mate, Took Miller coming back in. We saw one man who is currently leading the whole of the SuperCoach database in average, Alex Davies, drop a 136 last week. How is Took Miller coming back in going to affect him? Which I know a few people picked him up in draft, first week of draft finals.
Yeah.
Could be a bit big.
Where is Alex Davies named?
He's named in the midfield. Took Miller is named at half forward. We have seen Took been named at half forward for most of the season. We know as we talk about the Gold Coast mids. They usually like to run 3 specific CBA mids with a 4th that comes in, whether it be Bailey Humphrey or Sam Flanders. There's going to be a lot of guessing for now. Braden Fiorini's been getting a bit more midfield time as well. There's a lot of midfielders on this list for this game, and I'm interested to see what Flanders' thoughts is as our resident Gold Coast man. But mate, I think that the midfield 3 has to be Anderson, Rowell, and I would honestly have a Fiorini / Davies mix. I think Took coming straight back in pretty early. I think he's going to play half forward.
Yeah, Took will play half forward. I think Alex Davies is a little bit limited though, because while he has been known to kick goals. He kicks goals from stoppage. He's not really a forward, and I don't know him to play any other position on the ground apart from inside mid. So last week worked in his favour because it was on the ground a lot. It was wet. It suited his game. Remember, you got Bailey Humphrey, you got Took Miller, you got Braden Fiorini. You've got all these guys that can run through there. Don't expect a 130 this week if you grabbed him. If you can loop him and you get a 90, happy days. But yeah, don't expect the big scores.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this might affect, as we said, Bailey Humphrey, who's coming off a pretty big week as well. For the Richmond side of things, not too many relevant players realistically, unless you look at it draft. One interesting thing in a Lockie Bramble responsibly, I'm sure the boys in our punters club have already noticed it, but with Harry Armstrong and Seth Campbell back in, Nathan Broad out, Noah Bolter's named at full forward. So could be something very cheeky there if someone jumps on that pretty quick, and we can look into that. But there could be something there. Lockie Bramble responsibly, of course.
Love that.
Some big things in this game is going to be the captaincies after a potential Bont or a Gawn VC. 2 guys that match up incredibly well against Richmond is obviously Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell. And I think Rowell's my pick of the 2. So
who?
Matt Rowell.
Thank you.
I wish I still owned him. Mate, I'm still hurt by Matt Rowell. I can't believe it. Sold him so good. He sold me a dream of giving me a fantastic opening 6 weeks. Then I sell him off, and he becomes probably the best midfielder in the comp. So
yeah, hasn't he?
Thanks, Matthew. I appreciate it, mate. But no, he's been unreal. And just in hindsight, I wish I didn't sell him. But he would be my pick of the 2 for the C this week. He matches up incredibly well against Richmond. He's also leading the whole of the SuperCoach database in second to Bont in 3-round average with 153.
Beautiful.
He went 140 or 130 odd against Richmond last time. I think he's a very safe option. There's a lot of good C options this week. But yeah, Rowell's my guy over Nando's. Which one of the 2?
I go Nando's.
Yeah, that's just Nando's is great, but I think just the matchup wise, it's route for me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really about it for the Richmond side of things. Not too many relevant players. Tim Taranto still out with a calf. Should see our boy Taj Houghton get a bit more midfield time like he did last week. Anyone who owns Tim Taranto in draft, start looking on your waivers for a bit of a replacement. But we could jump into a bit of a quick discussion before you jump into the next game about Nick Vlaston, and is he underrated? Because there's a bit of things going out throughout the week that, some people are posting stats about him and Tom Stewart and what they've done over the past 7 years. And, Tom Stewart's got 5 All-Australians and Nick Vlaston has none. Is Nick Vlaston seriously underrated? And should he be an All-Australian this year?
Yes.
Yes to all?
Yep.
Fair enough. I mean, what didn't he break the record last week for most intercept possessions or go close to it or something?
I think he was close to it, yeah.
He's bloody good, whatever it is. And he's definitely a shining light in a pretty ordinary Richmond team. They've definitely done better than what we expected, but he's definitely one that we like the look of. So moving into the next game, and
bit going on in this game.
Yes, look, there is a bit going on, and it's going to be wet weather footy. And there's a bit to talk about still. So for the Sydney Swans against Essendon, Sydney, Peter Laddams, Caden Cleary, Ollie Florent, Tom McCartan, and young Jesse Datoli, who we have huge raps on over at Insight. We love the look of this kid. And he finally gets his debut. Will Hayward, Hayden McLean, Aaron Francis, Matt Roberts, and Joel Hamling all injured. Mate, probably all 4 key forwards out. That's interesting.
Very.
And for the Essendon side of things, Xavier Dersma comes back in, Archer May, Ben Hobbs, and young debutant breaking the record for 14 debutants this season for Essendon, Jaden Ewan. Look, pretty speedy halfback. Why not give him a crack? I guess I reckon he probably matches up to a Tom Papley. It should be a bit of a good fight, good test for the kid.
He's pretty tough at it. He's pretty speedy. Loves a hard ball get. Excited to see how he goes about it.
Yeah, I'm very keen as well. And the outs, Jordan Ridley out again, injured. Doesn't shock me at all. Sado Hawley, Nate Caddy out injured, and Zach Johnson omitted. Probably another big talking point in this game is Brodie Grundy, mate, he's on a 11-game 100+ streak, and bit of whispers that Goldie might be rested for this one. He's not. He's playing against him. Is Grundy as safe as a C option as we're thinking he is, or is there a slight risk there?
With Goldstein named, and with the way that he plays in the wet, just by getting his body in the right spots, I personally wouldn't captain Brodie Grundy this week. This may come back to bite me because he's only scored under 127 once in the past 8 weeks. But in the wet, he's not going to be able to get out and get the uncontested possessions on the outside as much as what he would if it was dry. I still see him having a bit of an effect around the ball, but if you've got Max Gawn and you've got Bontempelli, I'd just VC and C. And then if they either of them go 150, happy days. And then if you get a 140 out of Grundy, just be happy that you've got him.
Yeah, I agree. And as I mentioned this in the captain's article this week, which I did a 1 week swapsies with the doc while he was dealing with a bit of illness. If you want a safe captain, Grundy's the guy this week. I reckon he's pretty locked into at least a 120, but he's not going to boom like Gawn and Bont really could with the matchups that they've got.
Isn't it like
some other guys
you're expecting in Sydney on Saturday afternoon? Yeah,
mate. It hasn't stopped raining since Monday, and it's not meant to stop until Sunday. It's going to be pretty hectic. So, look, it's not like flood areas, but it's going to be wet enough for it to suck.
Okay.
But a guy for Sydney who could probably benefit in the rain is, I think, Isaac Heaney. He's good just wherever he plays, I suppose, whether it be forward, mid, or just anywhere around the ground. He's very good. And he can definitely take a mark in the wet as well. Mm-hmm. Is he an option for potentially a sneaky pod C? against
No.
Essendon in the wet?
I'm not.
Or
I'm
just-
not captaining anyone in the wet. No.
Yeah. And Errol Gordon probably lands in the same sort of boat. Yeah, like these guys could score good. This is probably a bit of a Chad Warner game as well, but the wet scares me off a little bit.
Mhm.
And I think we'll both probably agree that Zach Merritt is going to get tagged by James Jordan, right? I think he has to.
I would think so. Yeah.
I think he probably has to. Yeah, that'll probably about do us for this game. Realistically, for Essendon, not too much going on. As we said, Zach Merritt probably going to get tagged. If you got any of these guys in draft, like an Archie Roberts, they should be all right in the wet. They won't do too great. I can't really see any massive boom scores from these sorts of guys in that matchup. Then we move on to Collingwood versus Brisbane, the grand final rematch at the MCG. Ian Bobby Hill finds his way back in first time since round 15. Speaking of which, actually, what are your thoughts on all the Fox footy commentators not allowed to call each other by nicknames anymore?
Terrible.
I hate it.
Pissed.
It's gonna suck having to hear.
It's too formal. Like we know Lee Montagna as Joey. We know
Joey.
Nick Grewalt as Rui. We know David King as Flog. You just, do you know what I mean though? Like,
yeah, no,
everyone's got their own nicknames. You're Deadly. I'm a Horse. Like, yeah, I'm not going to go for no one that knows me. I'm not going to go ahead and say my name here, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like I get you. Like I'll say my name's James. No one calls me James. I'm always called by my last name plus a little bit. But yeah, But if that's the case, for the commentators, are they going to call Bobby Hill Ian because his nickname is Bobby?
That's right. Terrible, isn't it?
I'm interested. To see. Surely they're still.
Well, let me do these outs then. Bobby Ian Hill is in. Jordan De Goey is in. Scott Pendlebury is in. Out is Lachlan Sullivan, Thomas Mitchell, and Edward Allen. In for Brisbane, we've got Henry Smith, Bruce Reville. We can't even call him the Toaster anymore. Connor McKenna. He's not even related to Conor McGregor. And Oscar McInerney. No, hate it, dislike it. Oscar McInerney, you're wingnut. Connor McKenna, I can't understand you when you talk. The Toaster, Bruce, you're a gun. Love watching you play. You know, Bobby, you're a superstar. Wish we had you at Essendon, mate.
Yes.
Like, just stick to nicknames. It's the Aussie way. Don't get formal on us, fuckheads.
That's it. I'm with you. Yeah, Dicko, Moons, these guys. Well, like, come on. No one calls Cameron Mooney Cameron. No.
No.
It's anyway. All right, so in this one, we've got Lachlan Neale and Joshua Dunkley as some pretty big guys for the Brisbane side of things. Now, if you remember all the way back to about round 6 when these two teams matched up, Collingwood basically had their way with Brisbane, and the only real guy to thrive on Brisbane was Lachie Neale.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably a similar case, mate, in this one. I think Collingwood win this one, and I do think that Lachie Neale's really the only guy for Brisbane that has a huge one. We know Josh Dunkley's been in some form, but McCluggage has been in some form. Washcroft has been in some form, but yeah, I do worry for these sorts of matchups against Collingwood. They do like to restrict to the midfield area, and I know Lachie Neale likes to chase around the ball, so I trust him a bit more than these other guys. Where do you sit?
Is Berry going to go to Dacos?
You think he probably has to. Well, once again, you remember all the way back to round 6.
Mm-hmm.
177 for Nick Dacos, with Jared Berry jumping on him in that after halftime. After Nick Dacos probably had a 105 or something at halftime, and he still took the piss with him. So, yeah, I think he probably has to go to him early, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Also, another player for Brisbane who most people still have in their teams, Dane Zorko. Foot issues recently.
It sounds like he's just going to get the jab for the year now.
Yeah, I do worry, especially in this matchup. I think there's a low score on the horizon for Zorko. I also worry that potentially they just give him at least a couple of weeks. He sort of lands in the Connor Rozee scenario for me. Like Brisbane obviously are going to make finals, but at the same time, I would like to see them at least give him a couple weeks before finals, just get his body right. We know Jasper Fletcher and Darcy Wilmot can do a job without him. I don't see the reason in risking it, though.
There's not, but for my SuperCoach team, I'd really like him to stay in for 3 more weeks.
I bet you would.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on that, but at the same time, I don't hold high hopes that it does happen. For Collingwood, mate, we sort of touched on it. Nick Dacos versus the world. A pretty decent matchup for Darcy Cameron, though, against Darcy Fort and Oscar McInerney, who have been splitting the ruck quite well recently, but at the same time, they've been giving up some scores.
This is going to be a ripper game. Yeah,
it's going to be a good game. Tips in this one? I'm going Collingwood just because MCG, they've looked a better team all year. I trust them.
Yeah, they have. They've been a bit down lately, though. So I'm going to say Brisbane.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yep.
I won't talk you out of it at all. As we get into the Sunday games with the extended squads, we have St Kilda versus North Melbourne with Max Heath, Hugo Garcia, and Toby Travaglia added to the extended squad for St Kilda. And for North Melbourne, Nick Larkey, George Wardlaw, Geordie Payne, Will Phillips, and Cooper Harvey all in the extended squad with Jai Simpkin and Finbar Maley out. We probably expect Larkey and Wardlaw to come in. And I've heard some whispers that Geordie Payne might be a guy that could debut this week. So, yeah, keep an eye out on that. SuperCoach relevancy-wise in this one, mate, the big one, Nasai Wanganeen-Miller. He's another C option. If you had him, are you looking at him? Because I think he's one of my top picks.
Yeah, he's fucking unreal. One of my favourite players in the AFL now.
Yeah.
Can I interest you in one Rowan Marshall against Breen Teakle?
You definitely can. And I mentioned this in the captain's article that there's so many good matchups that if you have a Rowan Marshall or something in draft, I would slap a C on him so quickly. Like my top 5 is probably, all the big guys. Obviously, we got Wang. I like Dacos against Brisbane, even still with a tag opportunity. Bont, Gawn, Grundy. But mate, there's just some cheeky pod options like a Finn Callaghan or a Rowan Marshall that just could go bang, and we're just not ready for it. But I guess we are, and I hope it does happen.
Is Windhager going to anyone, mate?
No, I don't think. I think that's sort of in the past now for him, and I hope it is because he's a phenomenal footballer. Just without it,
he's got a massive tank.
He's so good. I'm glad that they sort of stopped using him as a tagger. Max Hall recently signed an extension. He's been good.
Really good.
Yeah, only real person who I could see going with anyone is Hugo Garcia if he plays, and I don't think he does. Besides that, I think it's a pretty bog-standard game. I think St Kilda will back their system to win this one over North, and I think they will get it done pretty convincingly, right?
I think so, yeah.
For the North side of things, Harry Sheasel, he's been all right most of the year. Colby McCoach has been a bit up and down. Can we expect, we know St Kilda like to give up a little bit of points to halfbacks, wingers, that sort of thing. Can we expect a bit of a bounce back for a McCoach and or Daniel?
I actually think that this game's going to be much closer to, on second thoughts at what people think. Before I go into your question, mate, I've just had a bit of a light bulb moment.
Go on.
At 295K, can I interest you in one George Wardlaw if he stays healthy for 4 weeks?
Oh,
if you need a downgrade option from someone that's injured, could you bring him in?
Asking George Wardlaw to stay healthy is like...
Yeah. What about if he's like, if you could grab him as an M9 or as a flex?
Not a bad run home. St Kilda this week, which is a good matchup for him. He's 123 in his one game against them. Yep. JWS, you can concede points to mids that they don't tag. Richmond, and then Adelaide is a good team who probably he won't do that great against. But those 3 out of 4, that's not bad. 297, but can we trust him to stay healthy?
That's why I'd say you'd need him as a loop player in case he does hurt.
It's tough. Just quickly, Joey Hunter, apologies for the dumb question. There's no dumb questions around here, mate. But
Nope.
where you guys get the field and play a layout like this. So what you do, just quickly, if you go into matches, you see their team lineups. If you just click on that, which like I've just done, it'll have the rounds and it'll have this. You can click show lineups, has the full team. So that's how we're doing it to get a nice full screen view.
Just don't look at ladder because Essendon should be a lot higher than what they are. Let's move on.
Let's not. Anyway, for this game, if you have Wang, I like him as a captain. Besides that, everyone else should do okay.
Mm-hmm.
Geelong versus Port Adelaide. A lot of ins and outs for Port Adelaide. Ivan Soldo, Rory Atkins, who's just announced he will retire at the end of the season. So congrats
The
to him
rat.
on a pretty decent career, to be fair. Dylan Williams, Jack Whitlock, Money Liddy, and Will Lorenz. And for the outs for Port Adelaide, Miles Bergman, who sadly for you shut down for the rest of the season.
Sad case.
Jack Lukosius and Logan Evans all out. And for the Geelong side of things, only the 3 on the extended bench with Mitch Nevitt, Jed Hughes, and Jai Clark. I probably assume they don't change anything there with those ins. But yeah, a bit going on for Port Adelaide with Bergman out. Sorry, I've just clicked on Jai Clark's name. Probably a big topic of conversation in this one is, well, I suppose we touched on already, is Connor Rozee. And are we worried that he could potentially be subbed or something in this game, potentially played in a bit of a lesser role or something like that?
Geelong are going to absolutely pants him. I don't even know why he'd be playing.
I'm worried that they're just going to target him and just target his hand. You think... I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why he's playing. Still.
No.
For the Port Adelaide side of things, Zach Butters likely to receive a tag, you'd think, if you remember
Oishan Mullen went to him earlier this year and he only scored 53.
Yes, and I think not much is going to change there. I think Oishan does go to him. And I think he holds... I don't know if he holds Butters to 53 again, but I definitely do think he does well against him.
Yeah, matches up well against him.
Yeah, another guy who matches up pretty well, Bailey Smith, coming off a 156 last week. Guess what he scored against Port Adelaide in round 10 when they matched up? 156. So, pretty good matchup for Bailey Smith, who looks to be over all his knee and hamstring and quad injuries, whatever he had going on the past couple of weeks. But there was a bit of stuff coming out earlier this week that he did have another injury. What was it? I can't remember now, but I haven't seen anything on it since about fucking Sunday. But he had something going on that that leads me towards don't captain him or anything like that.
Are you talking about Bailey Smith?
Yeah.
Adductor.
That's what it was. Yes. Don't captain Bailey Smith, even though the matchup's good for him. Sort of just have him. If he goes well, he goes well, I reckon. But yeah, that abductor does worry me.
Then you've got your Maxi Holmes, you've got Bailey Smith, Jordan Sweet, favourable matchup against Reece Stanley.
Sorry, I have to bring this up. That's good. That's good
elite.
That's good gear from you. No, you're right. There is some good matchups. Geordie Sweet coming off pretty huge weeks. Expecting him might go good again against Reece Stanley. Jace Burgoyne, my guy, named in the back pocket, so hopefully he plays halfback.
How many does Jeremy Cameron kick before we move to the next game?
On Essendon legend Brandon Zerk-Thatcher. What's the record? 18 or something?
Yeah, so he's kicking 20, is he?
Well, we'll give him... What did he kick last week? 11? We'll give him 9.
Okay.
I reckon 9's a safe bet against Essendon legend Brandon Zerk-Thatcher. But yeah, really besides this one, main guys, Zach Butters, expect to get tagged. Maxi Holmes, who might get off the chain a little bit in this one, and Bailey Smith, who I'm slightly concerned about. But yeah, there's a lot going on. And I think Jeremy Cameron, if you're looking for an Adam Cerra replacement who we'll get into in the next game, I think he's my favourite of the guys.
For sure.
And yeah, as we jump into the last game, Fremantle versus Carlton, Josh Draper, Brandon Walker, and Will Brodie, the 3 on the extended for Freo. And for Carlton, Flynn Young, Lewis Young, not in relation to each other. Francis Evans, Jackson Binns, Jordan Boyd, and Hudson O'Keefe all in the extended, with Sam Doherty, who has now retired from the AFL. So congrats to the great man. And Adam Chera, who is out for this week. And Charlie Curnow shut down for the rest of the season, having knee surgery, so that in hopes that they can get him in preseason next year.
Do you reckon Chera's done for the year as well?
I would probably lean yes. I think that at this point, Carlton know their season's done. They want to just get guys right for next year. They might start playing a bit of younger talent.
Do you remember what Adam Chera started the year on?
447, something like that. What was it?
So out of all the hundreds that he's scored, he has lost $2,000 this year. He's $445K for next year.
Oh, what a guess. 447. Yeah, that's unreal. Wow. I hope he does get shut down for the rest of the year, because would you even pick him next year?
Yeah. Yep.
At the same price? I don't know if I would.
Yep.
He gets, I don't know. That's a topic of conversation for the preseason, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for Carlton, I suppose it's really just the Georgie Hewitt show and not much else, right?
No, that's it. And then for Freo, you got Jackson, Sarong, Brayshaw, Luke Ryan, Jordan Clark, Hayden Young. All of a sudden, they look stacked.
Yeah, I do believe that that Freo win this one quite convincingly, and there's some guys that do have some pretty big games. I think, look, if you haven't used your VC or C at this point, it's the last game of the week. I think Brayshaw is my top guy out of all of them. But realistically, besides that, I think you're probably putting it on a Gorn or a Bont or a Grundy or someone like that above any of these guys. Yeah, that'll probably do us SuperCoach relevancy wise, mate. That'll probably do us for the team. So we can jump into a couple questions just before we wrap up and send people off to the footy.
Sounds good.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
DJ, good to see the wee man. Oh, he's a good man, DJ.
I like him.
Yeah.
I believe he's coming across from Tassie to round 24 too, Deadly.
Yes. Any bloke who's hopping on a plane, I heard it, to come across to round 24 is a good man. That's what I've heard through the grapevine.
Plane from Bendigo to Melbourne. You heard it here first. No,
from Clarkfield.
Yes, sir.
Lumberjack bearded bastard. Don't talk about health like that.
Earls is our man.
We love the man. Ahmed Frog, do we move Rosie to the flex and play Tom McCarthy on field just in case and save the trade? I think I wouldn't trade out Rosie. He's still playing. He's still
for now.
Chance that he I'd save the trade until he's out or you've got an injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably would just play him in the flex. I suppose he can just be your extra guy and just hope McCarthy puts up a decent enough score.
That's right.
Another one from Froggy. VC Gorn over Bont, and then C is Nas. Oof, tough one. I think Gorn probably ranks as my top VCC for the week. Then it's Bont, and then I do like Nas a lot. So if you're pretty set on Nas as C, I think it's probably Gorn.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Chase, the great man, Wemby, Horse X Deadly combo soothes my Thursday night blues, mate. You've got plenty of other things that soothe your Thursday night blues. Yes, we do love man. Good bloke. Goldie to Tao Grundy in the ruck like our man Deadly would. Damn right I would, Tao Grundy. These are the calls I'm here for.
Not.
Puma. Beanie James gave a good take, mate. You know me, I've got the most ball knowledge out of everyone. I know ball. They just don't want to admit it because I'm great. And as the Frog says here, I'm here for technology and graphics. Damn right, that's all I'm good for. The horse definitely cannot be trusted. Mate,
not at all.
Are you still on Windows 95 or is Windows haven't come out where you live or what's going on there?
I've been playing Grug on my computer since we started. Grug can jump.
That's definitely before my time.
For Stromy, we've got to get this in. Lockie Whitfield or Hayden Young for the horny one?
Whitfield's probably my top pick for just anyone to bring in.
Yeah.
But Hayden Young is a seriously interesting pod, right? He's looked real good. But it does worry me that he still does get moved around a fair bit. And obviously, they subbed him last week after a pretty huge 3 quarters. Look, against Carlton, they might get off to another big start and use him as a sub.
They're still working him back into full fitness after that long layoff. So,
yeah, he hasn't had like realistically a full game all year, like at all. Because you remember he was still coming back from an injury preseason. He only started in round 5. So yeah, I think just due to that fact that Lockie Whitfield, I know, will play full games in a good role, it's probably got to be him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Corey Blackledge, VC and Anderson or Dacos.
Anderson.
I do like Dacos as a sneak because no one's going to go him. But I think Anderson's a much safer play.
Anderson on the Gold Coast is always good for points.
Yeah, I think you're right. Andrew Britt, thoughts on Bergman to Hayden Young? 2 sub-affected games back, but scoring looks good. Yeah, as we said. I like it. I do still like it. He's still going to get some match fitness. They'll want to have him playing full games in finals. I can't knock it, mate. I seriously can't.
All I can say to Hayden Young is that he did this last year. He had 2 really good games and then followed it up with 2 60s. So for me, especially now that it's SuperCoach finals, I want to see consistency in scoring. And last week he looked awesome. Don't get me wrong. But if you've got the opportunity to grab, if you're stuck at 431K, then by all means bring him in. But if you're looking to bring in a pod, I think they're safer elsewhere.
How much is Jezza now?
470.
So 470, and how much is Whitfield? Would be over that, surely 478.
5,
so yeah, if you're in the lower than 470 range, I think Hayden Young is the play for sure. But I think Whitfield, Jezza, and then probably Hayden Young would be my guys in that sort of bracket. But yeah, that'll probably do us for tonight, mate. We've got 7 minutes before the footy goes off in a pretty cracking game, so we'll get off into that. But thanks for jumping on and letting me host tonight. I appreciate it.
You've done a good job of it, man.
Where can
the people find me?
Yes.
Well, I've just demolished one Zinger burger. I've got another one out there. Yeah, you heard that right. So I'll be on the couch watching the footy for a little bit. I think I'm catching up with a few lads at the Reservoir Hotel after 8 o'clock as well. So head down there. But here on Inside as well, the SuperCoach will not finish come round 24. SuperCoach Finals is being introduced to the Herald Sun. So they are bringing out a new format for finals, and we will be applying that to our podcast throughout the AFL Finals. So stay in touch with us. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, bell. If you haven't yet, I don't know why, it's nearly 200 people that are listening to us at the moment. Give us a thumbs up. Let people know that this is good shit. This is good content here, and we get you sorted for your weekend ahead, especially round 1 of your AFL SuperCoach Finals.
Couldn't have said it better myself, mate. 100%. We got plenty of good stuff going on at Insight, as you said before, with the newly introduced AFL Finals mode that's about to come in. There's an NRL Finals as well that the NRL boys will be doing. We've got NBA really starting to ramp up. Broads is doing a fantastic job with team previews in the Patreon, and we've got the NFL boys. They're right into mock drafts. We did a mock draft the other night with a few of the guys, and let's just say we're nowhere on Mullo and DFAB and Mavs level just yet. But
not yet.
Look, we're getting there. But if you follow them, you might win your leagues quite comfortably, I reckon. Me and the Whisper as well. We're ramping up EPL content, which starts in 2 weeks, I want to say. We've got a Defender episode coming out, hopefully, probably Monday. I don't know. Something about that. But yeah, plenty of stuff going on Insight. So drop us a follow, a subscription, whatever you're watching us on, and get amongst us. And to answer these last 2 questions, Keys or Chesser, it will always be Campbell Chesser. But Puma is right here. Keys us, 20 touches, 2 goals, lock it in. damn straight. That'll do us for tonight, ladies and gents. So thanks for jumping on and spending your time with us.
May you see some, whether it's Green Arrows or AFL SuperCoach finals wins for you beautiful bastards at home. We will be back Sunday night, Deadly. Is that right?
Yeah, we should be. I'd assume we are. So, yeah, we'll jump back on Sunday night, have a chat, and on to the next. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.